Hi, how you doing, Mr.
Good.
Lee?
Yes.
Nice to meet you. Dylan Fontaine from Gartner.
Hey, nice to meet you, Dylan.
May I have a seat?
Yeah, please have a seat.
How have you been this afternoon?
Man, I'm doing amazing.
Yeah?
You doing all right?
I'm doing well. The drive over here wasn't too bad.
Good.
It's only about 30 minutes. Getting down 35 was kind of rough, though.
Yeah.
You know, with all the construction, I mean, you think, why are they starting in the winter?
Well, because it takes like 5 years to do.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're right. I guess it's not just that one section, but they're doing the entire length of it.
Yeah.
So-
Two things in Texas, all right? The weather will always change, and there will always be construction on I-35.
That's what I've heard.
Yes.
So thank you for bringing me in today. I understand we only have 20 minutes.
Correct.
I want to be respectful of your time. We're still good for 20.
Yep.
Okay. I want to dive in. I want to get to know you a little bit more. I want to see what you know about Gartner and see if there's potential for a partnership. Does that sound about all right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I can ask you, what do you know about Gartner thus far?
So I know of Gartner.
Okay.
I know a little bit. So a lot of the peers within my, a lot of other CIO peers that I have utilized Gartner and recommended you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's part of why you're here today.
Okay.
But I've never extensively used it myself.
Okay.
So at the accounting firm, we did something else. So
Right. And so if I can ask, what did you use back at the accounting firm?
it was an accounting association,
Okay.
and it wasn't a one-on-one based research and advisory. It was more of a, data that you could pull an inquiry into that data.
Okay.
But I had to be the one to do the parameters and pull the information that I wanted to.
Okay. So it was
So I don't know the information that I don't know. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, so it was more, what it sounds like it was an internal database.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was an
okay.
accounting association, so it wasn't
Okay.
internal, but
Okay. I
you
understand.
get the idea. Yeah.
Right. So let me expand on what Gartner is a little bit, just so that we're on the same page. Gartner is the leading research and advisory firm in the world. So we serve companies from Fortune 100 clients all the way down to small enterprise. So we're looking at your company, the mid-enterprise sector, and we service your companies as well. Like I said, we spread the gamut. We provide that research and advisory to CIOs like yourself and other decision makers so that you can make the best decisions for your company that need to be made. We want to ensure that you have all of the knowledge and access to information so that you're cutting costs, driving revenue growth, and overall expansion within your business and your industry. Does that kind of give you a better idea of who and what Gartner does?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, so if I can now dive into more specifically your situation to see where we could reach a partnership, I'd love to do that.
Sure. Yeah, so, they just brought me on a couple months ago, and, I'm excited to be here, but it's somewhat a lot of new information. It's a new industry, so I'm trying to soak everything up first, and then I can figure out ways to achieve the company objectives.
Right. And so, sorry, continue.
No, and I was just going to tell you what those were. That's what
Okay.
you were about to ask me.
Okay.
So it's really just, as most companies, is to increase profitability and to improve our efficiency ratios.
Okay. And so when you say increased profitability, are we looking for certain metrics? I mean, do we have a percentage? Do we have a number that we're trying to meet? What does that look like?
Yeah. The directive is 10% profitability and then 4% cost reduction, i.e. efficiency.
And so beyond the percentage, do we have a number to that? Do we have?
Well, there's not an exact number because the forecasts and budgets are always changing.
Okay.
So as we increase, the numbers increase. So it's more about percent of profitability and ratio than an exact number.
Okay. Just wondering, make sure that we're covering all.
I mean, we're a
bases.
1.2 billion revenue annual company. So if you want to, that's pretty easy math there, 10%. So
okay. And so those are great to understand your financial goals. Beyond that, I want to ask you more specifically. I understand you've got 3 months in banking. You've obviously had tenured status in accounting, but going to your IT goals for this next year, are there any projects that you're looking to implement?
Yeah, there's a couple big ones. So we want to initiate a mobile application.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the biggest project right now. So beyond that, and how we're trying to achieve some of the ideas of how we're having to achieve, I really need some comparables of what other industries are doing, and I really need some cost comparison on spending and staffing. So that's the main thing. beyond just the mobile application, which is kind of our big IT project.
Right. And so with that mobile app, are there any goals for your customers? Is it, I guess we talked about the accessibility or the efficiency of your operations. Would that lead to, interacting with your customers more efficiently? Is that the goal of the mobile app? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, that's a fancy way of saying
okay.
Interacting with them less hands-on, right?
Okay.
Anytime that you can improve the customer experience, customers just want information, and so if you could give them that information digitally, where it's easier and quicker for them versus calling, it's a win-win, right? Because they get their information, it's a better experience for them, and we don't have those touch points where we have to increase staff and have them use their time, on those inquiries.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, we're really hoping that'll drive the efficiency.
Good. And when you look at implementing this mobile app or developing it, overall cost for a year, say development, implementation, and maintenance, do you have an idea of what we're looking at figure-wise?
Probably about 18 million, I think, is the initial estimate.
And is that a conservative estimate? I mean, are we padding that, looking like it's going to be a little lower end?
That's initial. And there's going to be ongoing costs forever, as you have the developers approve and add new features and things like that. So I think that's a target. Anytime you deal with applications, though, you know how that goes.
Yeah, they're so unpredictable. I mean, you never know what you're going to get yourself into. I mean, that's more so with every product or project. But the great thing that we're going to talk about with Gartner is that you're going to have all the information that you need to make that decision. So we'll have a better idea whether it's actually going to be 18 million or not. And then going further, we're going to know what type of maintenance and implementation processes could be used in that mobile app. That way, you're getting it right the first time. You're not having to make a second, third, or fourth guess and losing not only time but resources.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to hear how you can help me with that.
Yeah. Before we get to that, I want to have just a quick understanding of how you're conducting this research currently for the mobile app. So I understand you have 26 in your IT department. Are they, out of the 26, how many are actively helping you conduct this research?
We're not even in that phase yet.
Okay.
I would say 0.
Okay.
There's going to be a team. We may have to bring more people on. Yeah. I'm still getting a feel for their competencies and things like that. But I would say probably just on the research aspect alone, probably 3 or 4 initially at least.
What you project at least.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when yourself and your team of these 3 to 4 individuals go to conduct this research, if you didn't have a centralized location that would give you industry specific knowledge and information to make the decisions, where would you go?
Well, we just have to make the decisions based on the team and feedback and with the CFO approval, obviously. Okay,
so would you source this information from, say, a Google or another similar database to which you had back in the accounting industry?
Yeah. That's why I'm talking to you and a couple other options.
Okay.
But certainly wouldn't just use Google.
Right. And okay, good. And so when you've probably done projects very similar in the past. When you conduct research, say back in the accounting firm, without using Gartner, how many hours were you spending conducting that research?
Many a long night for sure. Yeah. Because like I said, it was through that accounting association, it was just a database and I had access to the data, but I'd have to mine it myself.
Okay.
And then draw up conclusions based on what I understood from that data.
And that data is probably more reliable than what we were talking about at, say, a Google or a Bing or a Yahoo.
Yeah.
And you're still having to go and source for valuable information.
Yeah, and it's I don't know the data I don't know, right? So I know what to look for in my mind, but having someone else assist with that would be a benefit, right? So someone that may be more versed in the industry or just the firm that knows what data other people are using, I think would be greatly beneficial.
And you're absolutely right. So if you had somebody who was walking alongside you who is helping you make these decisions who came from that industry. It sounds like that would be incredibly beneficial for you.
Yeah, for sure.
And not only in decision making, but in saving time conducting this research, because they can at least guide you to where you need to be, or to where you should at least start looking. Okay, do you have any other additions, any other items you want to throw in, anything else I should know before I present to you our Gartner solution?
No, I don't think so. No, I think we've laid a good groundwork of where I'm at.
Okay, and so continuing our conversation, would anybody else need to hear this information that I'm about to present?
No, I'm the decision maker, so
Okay.
I think it would need to funnel through me anyway. Obviously the CFO has veto power,
Right.
but no, I think you got the right person.
Okay, good. So, Mr. Merlady, I brought this along for you. Right here is a set of Gartner notes. So as I go through the different components, you can take notes on that page, keep it centralized in your folder with all the other additives, and we'll start rolling.
Okay.
I've got an additional folder that I'm going to let you hold on to, but let's walk through the Gartner for CIOs package together. So there are 3 components to the package. We've talked a lot about the research portion. So I've asked you, how are you currently sourcing your research? And you're saying that back in the accounting firm, you did it mostly through this. It's from your organization, from your industry with other information. With Gartner, it would be more so like a web portal to where you'd have access to multiple thousands of different industry-specific articles that could help you implement this new mobile app. Not only the implementation of it, but the development and the follow-through and the maintenance of it. We have teams of analysts back at HQ who are always conducting research from your industry. They come from that industry, and they're staying on top of the hype cycle, saying, "Hey, what are my CIOs in the banking industry? What do they need? What's coming up? Where can we provide research that would allow them to make those decisions to drive growth?" And it's constantly updating. So year over year, we're going to see additions of articles and research being placed onto our web portal. So it's not, if you read 1,000 articles, next year it's not going to be the same 1,000 that are sitting there. You're going to have the latest and greatest, is what that is. Now, if you have something like that, where you weren't searching through millions of, say, potential ads and jargon on the web, how much time could that save you?
Yeah, you bring up a great point. Yeah.
And it'd probably be beneficial for your implementation timeline. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
And so do you have any questions regarding the research?
No, I had a baseline knowledge of it, so it makes sense.
Right. Going into the cost optimization tools, you said that you really wanted to have an idea of where you could allocate items in your budget. With the mobile app development, you said, well, I want to see where other companies in my industry are spending that money, or what other competitors in my industry are spending on mobile app development. And the IT budget tool is a phenomenal tool that we provide to you. Let me show you an outline of what it'll look like. Typically it comes in a 27-page report, detailed report, but I brought the summary page. So right here, this is just an example organization from healthcare. It doesn't matter the industry, we're just really looking at the breakdown of the numbers. So this, if you were to go through or sign with Gartner and receive the IT budget tool, that would be your organization, and it would show you based on a category of different factors that here's what your budget breakdown is. So you're spending X amount on formal IT budget, or X, and then another X amount on in-sourced items. So, and then you could go further and compare that to other companies in your industry, and give you a holistic view of, am I really allocating the amount of resources to this department when I should be spending it on this project? Or you may even be able to get ahead of your game and say, my competitors are spending X amount on this. We don't need that, right? We need to allocate it here because that's what's going to drive growth. And then we show a parallel industry just so you kind of have an additional idea of where others are lying. How does that sound in your creation development or your budget of the mobile app? Do you think that would assist you with a number to take to the C-suite?
Yeah, I think that's definitely kind of what I was explaining earlier, what I'm looking for. So yeah, that's right in line.
And then additionally, going further, we have another item within our cost optimization tools, and that is a contract review. So with your mobile app development, you're going to be sourcing different vendors to either put together your app for the software, or you may need some infrastructure to handle it. And looking at that, you'll submit a number of different contracts to these vendors. Do you have from the 3 months, I know you may not have submit a ton of contracts, but do you have an idea of what your annual contract submission looks like?
Yeah, I figured you would ask me that. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
It's always a moving target, and I'm so new here that I'm going to revamp a lot of it anyway.
Right.
So definitely in the hundreds of thousands, though.
Okay, and just
With all
on
the
a total
contracts.
number. So do you think
It's probably around whatever the industry average is.
Okay, so from other banks in your size and industry in your region, we really estimate that they submit on average about 10 contracts a year at 100,000 each. So we're looking at more of $100,000 worth of contract submissions. Well, with the
You mean $1 million?
sorry, 1 million.
Yeah,
excuse
10 at
me.
100,000.
Yeah, sorry, excuse me,
Yeah,
I misspoke.
If you can get me down to 100,000, you're doing all right.
And so whenever you submit a contract, on average, we typically find about 75% of those contracts have available savings. Well, within those, so now our 1 million is now at a $700,000 figure of potential savings. And within those $700,000, we find about 15 to 20%. So even if we were to take the 10% of it, you're looking at $70,000 first year savings if you hit that industry average. You could go beyond and you could just be below, but that's a conservative estimate I would agree on. Do you have, and when it comes to, you're looking at 18 million, I know 70,000 is a drop in the bucket, but 70,000 could be an additional IT staffer who would maintain the mobile app, or could
help me with my 4% efficiency.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think that's a great point, bringing up that $70,000 contributing to your efficiency. Do you have any questions about the cost optimization tool?
No, I think we should move on.
So let's move on to the executive partner, which sounds like is going to be a key for you, considering that you are a tenured CIO. However, you are new in the banking industry, and you had mentioned that you don't know what you don't know. And when you're searching for this information, you needed someone there to guide you, to at least point you in the right direction. And that's what the executive partner would do. They are a retired CIO from your industry who would be able to walk alongside you in your journey more specifically to develop a mobile app. They may not have developed a mobile app before, but they have an extensive network of CIOs that they could additionally call on. So you're not only receiving support from that CIO, but from their additional network as well.
Yeah, I got to tell you, they brought me in for my expertise and knowledge around CIO. So, I don't think I'd be comfortable bringing in an executive partner, and because then they'd be like, why didn't we hire me?
Right. And so, I understand that, but the executive partner, he's not serving your company, he's serving you. And at least I know he's going to be able to help point you in the right direction so that you are able to search the information that you need, bring back the acquired data, and present it to your direct reports, saying, hey, look what I've found. And that helps you build credibility in your business, especially being in a new role. And it also doesn't hurt to ask for help. I understand you're an expert in your field. However, they're also, and they came to Gartner because they believe in the product and they know that they have a servant leadership heart and they want to serve you. So, as you had mentioned, you don't know what you don't know, but if we can have someone there on the sidelines to help you, not coach you, but to help you, I know it'd be beneficial for you. And so, do you have any questions regarding any of these three components to the Gartner for CIOs package?
No, I think I don't have any questions. It all looks good.
Okay.
And it makes sense what you were just telling me. I was just processing that information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see how that's benefit.
I pride myself on being a good golfer. I've got an 8 handicap. I'm not the best, but I've got an 8 handicap. And the old gentleman at the driving range that always approached me, I'm never going to turn them away because I know that they're there to help.
Right.
All right, about 5 minutes for feedback.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't even get a knock.
You don't get a knock this time around. You were warned of that.
Sorry. Okay. I'm still Dylan Fontaine. What's your name though?
Nathan Anderson.
Nathan, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. All
Okay,
right.
Rip me apart.
Man, you were crushing it. You just didn't finish.
I know, I ran out of time.
You were expecting a knock.
I was expecting a knock.
I was going to tell her, like, use this one as an example of what to do. But that's why I didn't, like, I was like, yeah, it's time to move on.
Okay.
I felt like it was going long. So I was trying to, like, get you there.
I typically run long, which I've been working on.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know if I ask too many questions or if it's because I take too long in the product demo. I think it's probably a combination of both. I run over a little bit in the product demo. That's why in the report, I was like, I-35 stinks, but hey, let's get to it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it may be because you're thorough and you want to get all your points in, but you have to understand the consequence of that, right?
Yeah.
So in the real world, people have times and they got to go. So, I don't know if you've ever been sold something and you're in a hurry and you just start checking out, right? Like, you're like, I all of a sudden hate this guy, I got to go.
Right.
So let me give you my feedback, man. The best one so far. Like you did amazing. Right until you didn't get to close.
Right? I was there. I didn't even.
Like 2 minutes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll just read some of the things I wrote, and then I'll kind of go down my sheet. But you did a really good job of getting the benefits from me. Mm-hmm. I think you're a natural salesperson. It was more conversational. Mm-hmm. Than I don't want to compare you to other people. It was very conversational. Right. It felt like it was a partnership getting to something versus just being sold something. Yeah. Right. So you did a good job of that, and I think it was by starting the report up front and sliding into it. It didn't felt awkward like you said. Mm-hmm. Like, all right, no, let's get. It didn't at all. Like I thought you did a good job. I also like how you. Like when I would kind of hand you something like, oh, that would be great. You added on. So you added on like, oh, and it would help you save time. So when I was like, oh, that's information I would be looking for. That sounds perfect. Mm-hmm. You didn't just take the win. You added an extra benefit on top of that. And so I thought that was really good, which means you're thinking throughout the presentation and not just going in robot mode of trying to sell something. The materials look great. You were obviously very prepared, very professional looking. I also like as you were getting into the sales pitch, you kept relating back to things I had said. Mm-hmm. So you told me, you said like 6 times, or you can watch replay, maybe less than that, but it felt like
it was a lot.
Felt like you said it a lot, right? And that's great, right? Because you're not telling me something. Hey, you said this, right? And here it is. So. I thought it was good. I thought you were. I felt like you did a good job of trying to sell me this product versus it being a role play where you're trying to hit points. Right. And that just means it was natural. And I can't. I wish I had some like feedback to help you. You just did a really good job.
Thank you.
I can't. I don't say that to everyone. You did a really good job. The silence where we stared at each other for a second.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I was trying to get out of you?
You were trying to get me to speak, I feel.
But do you know what I was trying to get you to say? Like, you had just overcome an objection, and I thought you did a good job of it, right? But you could have said, can you see how that would benefit you, or do you agree that would be a great thing for you?
Like a trial class. Yeah,
because I was just like, man, I don't want to bring another CIO in. Mm-hmm. And you crushed it. You crushed the objection handling. Just check for acceptance after that. Yeah. Right? So I was trying to give you that opportunity to be like, does that work? Is that, because if it doesn't, if I'm still not buying what you're selling, you better keep trying to overcome it. Right. Right? So always make sure that you've overcome that objection. In your mind, you did. Yeah. but you don't know what's in my mind. You don't know what's in the customer's mind.
Yeah, and you're right. I probably should have said something. Part of me was also, so I'm in a negotiations class as well, and we talk about whenever you have
First one to speak.
Yeah. Well, no, not first one to speak, but whenever you have a tough objection like that in any negotiation, not necessarily in the sales environment, silence is one of the greatest tools, because if I were to overcome that objection, and I would, of course, hope that I answered a question for you, you would respond with, okay, great. And I couldn't, like, there was no body language to pick up on. And usually I could read people fairly well, and it was just a...
It's because I was trying to pull something out of you. I was trying to do that. But I understand in the real world, you probably would get more of a reaction from someone, yes or no, right? Like if I still wasn't buying it, it could have been
positive or negative. Yeah,
right.
I could have gotten either reaction.
But yeah, so again, in this role play, I was just trying to pull out of you to see if you would overcome it.
Right.
And sometimes if you don't know, then that's when you need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll let Nathan get out of here now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we done with the feedback?
I think we're done. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry I couldn't close you. Dr. Mangus, I couldn't do it.
You can do it.
No, I
You
can.
will do
No,
it.
I can do it. I didn't get the
Practice makes perfect.
I didn't get the opportunity to do it.
You didn't manage the opportunity to do it.
You're right. We had a staring contest.
Yes, we did. So, do we get a chance to debrief, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
We're just chilling out of here.
Let me give you my card.
Perfect. And yeah, find me on LinkedIn, and
Okay.
I'm Nathan Anderson with Wells Fargo. So I didn't bring my cards in.
No worries. I'll find you.
Cool, man.
Hey,
Good job.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about those trial closes.
All
I
right.
kind of did.
Take care.
Yay!
Alright.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, this was
Appreciate
so
it.
much fun. I wish I could do a bunch more, honestly.
Yeah, I
After the first one, you kind of get in the
You
flow.
get in the
and
rhythm. That's what
yeah.
somebody said last week. They're like, oh man, I feel like the first person I wasn't like in role yet.
Right, yeah, you need to, because you're still worried about like hitting the points and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But then the second one, third one is like, boom.
Yeah,
natural,
and then it's
easy.
just funny. Like, how can this student get around it? Yeah. Good
Oh,
deal.
that's super fun. Invite me back. Like, this was
Okay,
awesome.
awesome. We will do it. We do, so this particular course is every fall that we do it in this structure. So there are other sections of Pro Sales 1 as well that during the week, but most of our Pro Sales majors are funneled into this section, and they do this Friday, Saturday model. And so after today, they're done for the semester. So
Right.
it was nice because when they're going through the internship interview process, for example, week 2, they're already role playing in class, versus if it was a typical class, it would probably be, week 6 or week 8 before they got to that process. So
Right.
anyway, so it's exhausting but fun.
Yeah. So do you sit and watch all of them?
I do,
or? Oh my
I
goodness.
do.
Okay.
It can get painful after a while,
Yeah.
but it's good, for them, and I think for partners that are hiring them, they're getting individualized feedback all along the way. So their first role play is just like the first 2 minutes introducing themselves, because they're like a sweaty mess. And then we add on the needs assessment, then we add on the product demo, and then we add on the close, and then they do a few that are the full package. So all along the way, they're getting feedback from their classmates, and then feedback from me, and feedback from partners. So
Yeah.
hopefully,
So-
long-term plan
so-
is turn them out good.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure you'll watch my feedback of them
Sure,
as well. But it's fun to give you, I guess,
Yeah.
the feedback. So Preston did a really good job. It was my first one, so I should wait to score until the end, but then you kind of forget some of the details.
Right.
But now that I have a basic comparison of at least 3, it's easier to see who did better than who did
Sure.
everything. But he did a really good job. He just went long and didn't get to the end. So that was his only really bad thing. And he didn't really handle objections very creatively.
Okay.